Yo, welcome back, guys. This is Kev from 21 Sat Street. Today we're talking about seeing Bitcoin as, for what we've been calling it for the longest, as money. In this case, like actually using it as like if you were using it on a daily basis, like if you're using dollars and stuff. And today I actually have some illustrations with me. Usually one of the common critiques or misconceptions about Bitcoin is like, how are you going to use it as money if nobody is accepting it or transacting it in it and all that? And if so, how are you going to transact with it? Like, am I going to buy a flat screen TV with 5 Bitcoins, or buy a toaster with 2 Bitcoins and all that? And you'll see in other videos as they come along. They're currently being edited as we speak, how we break it down. So remember that Bitcoin is broken down into satoshis, and satoshis are the denomination of Bitcoin. So for example, in 1 Bitcoin right here that I have right here, I have 1 Bitcoin. Shocker. In 1 Bitcoin, you got 100 million satoshis. So that doesn't mean like, something's just gonna cost something is just gonna cost just 1 Bitcoin and you just spend the whole Bitcoin and there you go. No. Same thing like, as we have here, like this dollar right here. 4 quarters make $1, 10 dimes make $1, 100 pennies make $1, 60 nickels makes $1. So now obviously something's not going to cost a whole dollar. Maybe you don't have to use a whole dollar. Maybe it's just going to cost, and this is just for the sake of the illustration. I know things nowadays don't cost, a nickel or 10 cents, or even when I was growing up, they used to have the 99-cent store before they had the Dollar Tree or Dollar General and all that. And now even like those stores are becoming obsolete because most things are not costing $1. But yeah, so hold on, I'm just trying to gather my train of thoughts. But basically is, in the future we can say like a flat screen TV that could cost 15,000 satoshis, just to give an example, or maybe even less than that, maybe even more of that, and you just need to spend 15 satoshis. And the reason why I have these illustrations is because the other critique is people say that Bitcoin is expensive. Like I should have bought Bitcoin when it was at $100, $300, or even $1,000. And again, I mentioned this in a video as well. Like these 2 upcoming videos right now, as again they're currently being edited, and you'll see when it makes sense. This is kind of like a Star Wars moment right here, where the I guess you could say where the, how do I put it, like I'm uploading the sequel or the original, and then I upload the prequels. But anyways, that's besides the point. So, and again, and I think I mentioned in those videos that you're right on time, and I'm going to re-emphasize that again, and I'll probably, and even in more videos to come, like I'm just going to say you're right on time. So think of it like this, and I'm actually going to pull up something that I wrote here the other day. Where is it? Okay, so for example, I think right now for $1, it's $1 right here, you can get like around 1,200 satoshis or 1,200 satoshis. So just the smallest, denomination of this. So 1,200 out of the 100 million satoshis in 1 Bitcoin. And people say like, oh, the price is down, like, I don't know, and all that. And I mean, usually when you see stuff go down, like let's say your a shirt, a hat, or whatever, even that flat screen TV or a car or a house, whatever it is, usually means it's at a discount. You can get it for a cheaper price rather than what you would be paying, than what you'd be paying for at regular or premium. Because if you look when Bitcoin was at the all-time high, so the all-time high was back in October of last year. And for $1, for that same dollar, you could only get 791 Satoshis. That's a big jump right there from 1200 to 791. That's almost like around 300-ish Satoshis right there. So really right now, this is the perfect time to be stacking because you can get more Satoshis with your dollars. You're essentially stretching out that dollar to get more Satoshis. So, and it's not gonna be like this always because Bitcoin is gonna go back to 100. It is gonna go back to 126K. And maybe even beyond that, and you're going to get less Satoshis once we go back into those triple digits right there. And here's another example. So I have right here the Costa Rican colon right here. So this is the money that they use in Costa Rica. The reason I'm using Costa Rica is because, my family's from Costa Rica, and yeah, that's the perfect example. And for some reason, this always stood with me. I don't know why. I'm just strange like that. But anyways, right now in Costa Rica, you can get around, for $1, you can get around 400 colones. So $1 right here, you can get 400 of these. You're like, all right, Kat, what's the point? If we were to go back in time, back into April of 2021, for $1, you could have gone between 615 to 620 colones. So back in April of 2021, again, this dollar right here could get more colones right here for whatever reason. Again, if somebody's going down from there for, vacation, or let's say you live down there too, whatever. So yeah, so your dollars actually went further back then, back in April of 2021, and now you can only get 400 of those colones for $1 today, which means it doesn't get you as much. So, and that's kind of the same comparison, with Bitcoin, because and I think people don't understand this too. Like, even the dollar, foreign currency, or just currencies in general, they're always rising, they're always dipping. So, but the thing is, nobody cares. People have to pay bills. People have to pay for groceries or for whatever goods and services, despite if it's crashing. I mean, if it's a significant crash like Argentina, Venezuela, Lebanon, or that incident with Cyprus, Greece, unless it's that significant, then that's a totally different story right there. But regardless of whether it be the dollar, the euro, the pound, or in this case the cologne, or the pesos of, depending on which country that you're in and all that, people are still using this to transact. Yes, it could dip, it can go up, but regardless, you're still using it to transact. And I understand that right now for Bitcoin, there's not much transactions going on, at least on the US side these days. I mean, I'll use myself as an example. Like, I have a coffee company, and recently people have been putting orders with me, and they've been sending me Satoshis. Obviously I would accept, dollars, but I also accept Satoshis as well, and I've been paid with Satoshis. It's funny because I was telling a friend this as well, that, putting these coffee orders and I'm accepting, Bitcoin, Satoshis, And they're like saying like, but isn't paying with Bitcoin expensive? And that's another critique too, saying like, oh, like Bitcoin is expensive, it's slow and all that. And people just refer to the on-chain, which obviously it is slow, and for a fee it is, it's pretty pricey too. But people don't know. It's surprising that people don't know a lot about Lightning. Now, what is Lightning? Lightning is a layer 2 feature that's built upon the Bitcoin network, where you can send those Satoshis faster and at a fraction of the cost. You can get it in a matter of minutes or in seconds, and you just get it right there and there. It's faster than a wire transfer, than a ACH transfer, or anything like Western Union or anything like that. So, and you're not paying as much in fees with that as well, which is dope, which is great. Even just fascinating, just getting it instantly like that. So yeah, so I talked about 3 Bitcoin critiques right here about like why people don't see it or use it as money just yet, is because it's slow and expensive. It can go up really high or it can go down really low, volatility. And like not knowing between the unit of accounts between like like with Bitcoin and Satoshis and all that. Again, I'll be talking about that in a separate video. What are Satoshis? And also how much Bitcoin you should own, which is pretty subjective. So stay tuned for that. Yeah, if you got any value out of this, leave a like if you want. Comment down below if I missed anything or I should have mentioned something else. Who knows, maybe I'll revisit this and maybe I'll do an updated version of this at some point. But yeah, before I go, I had a conversation about this with a friend, and I want to see, well, actually, no, I'm not doing a live, but basically the premise is the reason how Bitcoin got its name. And it's an interesting one. So apparently and I'm going to say this as simple as possible. I can't speak at a technical level or to say what I'm about to say, but the reason how Bitcoin got its name is because apparently in I guess you could say in computer world, in cyberspace, a bit is like a unit of data or something like that. Again, I'm butchering this real bad. I'm sorry. Bear with me, guys. And apparently, in order for you to get a byte, you need 8 bits. So yeah, bits, Bitcoin, byte. And even if you look at the unit of account for Bitcoin, so is that 10 right there, and then that dot, and then from that dot is the 7 or 8 zeros. Again, I'm butchering this, but hopefully you follow along. But I believe it's between them. But yeah, so once you have 8 bits, you get a byte. And again, it's again, that's the language of cyberspace and all, which is pretty cool. I never thought about it that way, or thought about it at all. So there you go, fun fact. But anyways, until then, guys, this is Kev from 21 Sad Street. Hopefully you guys have a good morning, good afternoon, good evening. And until next time, peace.